A little while ago, I found a really cool shell for the Game Boy Advance SP, which basically made my Game Boy look a bit like the Super Nintendo. You all really enjoyed that video, and also recently you've been enjoying my Switch videos. So I reached out to a company called Gaming Cobra. I'll leave their details and stuff in the description if you want to go and check them out. They make a bunch of really cool components for your gaming hardware to basically customize and, you know, make your consoles and stuff unique, which I think is really cool. In today's video, we're going to be switching up the Switch, which is going to be the deadest joke ever, and we're going to be customizing it and making it look like a Super Nintendo. So these guys over at Gaming Cobra sent me a bunch of awesome stuff, and I am actually going to be giving some of this away on my Twitter. So I'll leave the details in the description of how to enter that giveaway, so you guys can go ahead and customize your own Switch. They've even sent me something for the dock, which is like a faceplate that goes onto the dock. Didn't even know that those were a mod that you could do. They've sent me a controller shell, which is absolutely stunning, and I'm gonna see if I can get it to fit on my aftermarket Switch controller. I don't know if it will work, but the molds do look pretty similar, so it'll be interesting to see if that fits on there. It's a really nice sort of blue color. So the other bits they've sent me, which is possibly the most important part of this, is the Switch back, which is an absolutely stunning feel. It just feels very, very high quality, as well as the Joy-Con shell replacements and buttons. Super excited. Let's go ahead and put all of this stuff on. So the first thing we're going to disassemble is the dock. To do this, you're going to need to remove all of the tri-wing screws on the back piece. Lift it up and you will expose the motherboard, which needs to be unhooked from the two connectors on the left hand side. Then undo the ribbon cables and you will expose the Phillips screws underneath. Remove all of those and that entire piece will lift off. Feed the ribbon cables through and undo the 4 screws on the bottom of the USB-C connector. There are 2 springs which connect to this thing. Be very careful they don't spring out. Then lift off the back piece and slide down the bracket and you will be able to remove the LED and clear piece of plastic. From then onwards, it's just a reassembly of the entire thing. Now for the actual Switch itself. Go ahead and power down the device and undo the 4 tri-wing screws from the back of the Switch. There are 2 Phillips screws on the bottom and 1 Phillips screw on the top. There's a further screw that you're going to need to remove underneath the micro SD card port and 2 of the center Joy-Con rail screws. The back piece will then lift off. You need to transfer the various components from the previous shell piece onto the new one, which is all done with a Phillips screw. For the kickstand, you need to take a tri-ring screwdriver out and undo the tri-ring screw, transfer the bracket and reassemble. Now, trying to demonstrate how to disassemble Joy-Cons is just an absolute nightmare. So I'll leave a complete case disassembly guide in the description below, which goes through all the different steps. Each side is also different. I did try and film this, but it was just nasty. One thing you definitely need to remember is to undo the shoulder piece and replace those switches over with the new purple ones. Then you just need to reassemble the whole thing and test that everything works. The Pro Controller just requires 2 Phillips screws on either grip. Undo those and you will see 4 more Phillips screws, 2 on either side. The back piece will then lift off. Remove the battery and undo every Phillips screw that you can see. The centerpiece will then come out. You actually don't need to touch that after you unhook the ribbon cable. Undo the motherboard with all of the Phillips screws that you can see, lift it out and replace all of the buttons with the new ones provided. Then you need to undo the ribbon cable here, and what we're going to be doing is swapping over the shoulder buttons. To do that, just slide out and unhook the top 2 and then chuck the new ones in. The bottom two are slightly more difficult. You're going to need to unhook this rail here. This is quite hard to get out and did require a lot of work. Then slide the new rail back in along with the new buttons, and then reassemble the Pro Controller. To be fair, that was actually quite a painful process. It's definitely not a difficult one. The Joy-Cons are by far the hardest bit because they're just so fiddly. Aside from that, the dock was just disassembly and reassembly, as was the Switch. And the controller wasn't too bad either, although getting that little bar through the ZR and ZL was quite awful. The dock is absolutely flawless. No problems there at all. It's just lovely. It's a really nice little addition. It definitely separates up, you know, your dock from anyone else's. And also, if you're a retro enthusiast like me, it's nice to have a sort of an old SNES sitting on your TV or wherever. So that one is just lovely. Put that to the side. We don't need to talk about that. The Joy-Cons look phenomenal. I've got no complaints about these whatsoever. They just look absolutely lovely. The purple and grey just complements so well on these Joy-Cons. The black as well is pretty decent. Yeah, absolutely love these. I love the attention to detail. You know, they've supplied us with the replacement buttons for the Joy-Cons, the shoulder buttons, and they feel lovely. Everything, by the way, feels really nice. This has been printed on, I believe, it's like this soft touch sort of thing. Moving on to the actual Switch itself. Again, this looks lovely and it feels very, very nice. The print is really high quality and the colors just pop so well. And yeah, especially, you know, when you look at the controllers and everything next to it in the whole set. This definitely looks far smarter than my mint green one. I really, really dig this so much. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. So then moving on to the Pro Controller. This thing is pretty good. It's a little bit meh. The soft touch feel is lovely, that's for sure. The white buttons look stunning against the blue. I just don't like the fact that this is still black. These are black and these are black. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. They didn't supply me with any of the other bits to replace that. Obviously, I can't complain. I think if you are going to buy this, maybe just stick to the black buttons. I'm going to be taking this apart anyway because I didn't put the membrane back on the D-pad properly. So I think I'm just going to chuck the black buttons back in. I think they look absolutely stunning and I'm so happy and impressed by these. That is how you turn your Switch into an SNES. So if you would like to check out the prices of this stuff and do this for yourself, check out the links in the description below. Big thank you again to the company who sent this to me. Let me know what you think. I absolutely love this. I really, really do think it looks stunning. If you do as well, then I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.